Hey, this is Daniel Norton. Welcome to my studio here in New York City. Today we're going to talk about light spill. I've got my friend Erica coming. We're going to make some nice portraits. I'm going to use my favorite single light for a portrait, which is a 3-foot octagon. And we're going to talk about using the feathering technique of the light and using a grid to control where our light falls. Whenever we're setting up our key light for our subject, it can be useful, I guess, to just have the light go everywhere. But the more you shoot, the more you light, the more you want to have control, right? With control freaks as photographers after a while, right? That's why we light. We want to make sure we can put the exact light we want on our subject, but have our background, let's say, lit separately, or other subjects in the area lit separately. So we're going to talk about techniques and also some tools that you can use to do that. Okay, so the gear for this is super simple. We got the Profoto B10, we got my 3-foot Octa, which is my favorite modifier for a single light portrait, and a grid, so I can double my day rate. Okay, so I got Erica here, looking good as always, in the blue checks. Checks mix. I don't know. These are the things that come into my head. But anyways, if we want to control our light, we're doing a single light shot, right? So if we want to talk about controlling our light, we have to talk about zones. Now, if we think about the inverse square law, if we put Erica close to the background, she's kind of in the same zone as the background, meaning that if I light her up correctly, so she's exposed correctly, the background will look the way it looks. Now, if that's what you want, you're golden, right? That's basically it. But the ratio of kind of space or distance between Erica in the background and Erica in the light is going to affect how dark the background is. That's the most simple thing we can do, right? So either moving the light dramatically closer to her, so the background is effectively further away, or moving her closer to the light will change the way it looks. Let's just take a baseline shot, as they say. I don't know who says that, but somebody says it. Right, and we're gonna see, I mean, we're not worried too much about positioning or whatever, but yeah, we can see, you know, the background essentially looks the way it looks. Erica looks the way she looks. I mean, can't go wrong with that, right? But if let's say we walk all the way up to the light. Okay, now clearly this is not in a great position, right? But if I were to photograph Erica now and expose her properly, the background would be quite dark. This isn't gonna look very good, so I need to move the light as well, right? So, but I can keep the light relatively close to her, right? So I'll move it more in front, but keeping it so that it's more or less closer to her proportionately than it is to the background. We'll take another shot. And we can see already the background is very, very dark. So that's one way you can do it, right? But let's say you don't have that much, don't type it, stop typing. I know you don't have this much space. Split the difference. Okay, so let's say that we want to get it dark, but we don't have that much space. We can move the light, again, closer to her than it is the background. That will make the background darker. But of course, this is going to not go quite as dark as that. Right? It's a little bit lighter, right? So we have shades of gray. If we want the background to be darker, and for the light actually to look nicer, to be honest with you, we want to maybe talk about feathering the light. So feathering the light means we don't aim the center of it at her. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of use the edge of the light to kind of come across, right? So all the light's coming this way. Because remember, when light leaves your softbox, it's not just going straight out like a laser, it's spreading. So if we do this, now the light's kind of washing across her face. We can see that not only will it effectively make the background darker, but we also get a nicer spread of light across her, right? So we go from this kind of charcoal, which actually is kind of a nice color, to a much darker color, but we also get this nicer light across her face. Now, a couple changes, as always. I'm gonna tilt the light down a little bit so we get a little bit of a nicer feel. I'm gonna tilt it down and raise it up. This doesn't affect the background so much, but it just puts it in a nicer spot for us. And I'm going to actually move it a little bit more forward. Okay, this is just me positioning for Erica. We're still doing the same thing. I'm kind of washing it across. We'll do one more shot like this. Good. There we go. Now we've got nice light on her face. The background is nearly black. And yeah, looking good. I think the exposure is a smidge dark, maybe. I'm gonna switch toward a manual. I'm gonna give myself 1/10 of light and just do a couple shots like this because I like it. Okay, work towards the light a little bit. Good, there we go. Nice, good. Good. So we can see nice dark background, looks good. I'll do a vertical for, you know, for the kids, for the TikTok. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. And if we wanted to add a reflector in, this is going to be much more effective because we have the light falling over here. Now, let's say that we want the light to be, we don't want to feather the light, we want to make it more directional on her, but we don't want it to hit the background. We do have another tool that we could use, and that's a grid. That's a grid. So a grid, or in this case, an egg crate, sometimes called, right, is going to change the spread of our light. Our normal softbox might be like 120 degrees, 150 degrees, depending on your softbox. This is going to make it about, I think this one's 40. And what this will do is make it so that our light is more directional. So I'm going to put this on. And we'll either cut or it'll go really fast right now. All right, so we can see we've got the egg crate on there. It's going to funnel our light forward. It does not focus the light, it changes the spread. Remember that. Remember that, kids. Okay. So of course, if we keep the light in the same spot, I'm going to switch back to TTL because obviously we'll put something in front of the light, it's going to change the exposure. Well, we can see even in the same spot, the background is now extra crispy, right? So even here where it was dark, remember there where you were like, wow, Daniel, that background's so dark. Now you're looking at it, you're like, that's not dark at all. Look at how dark that background is. But yeah, so we can see, really gives us control. We can then also angle the light differently, right? I can even spin the light more towards her and still keep most of it off the background, or at least get that really, really dark background even with the light more like this. See? Now we're got that kind of, again, we got that more charcoal because I'm pointing at the background, and we have that beautiful sculpted, wow, it's like classic. Erica has a classic look. We call this the classic. Oh yes, let's use the grid. Also, you can charge 25% more when you use a grid. It's weird you can only charge 25% more because a grid usually costs as much as a softbox, so one would think you could charge 100% more. Yeah. Yeah, beautiful, right? We can see this light, it's moody. Now, as one final thing, let's move you close to the background. Now, if I just move her close to the background and keep doing exactly what we're doing with the grid, of course the background is still going to get light on it. But we can see how much more kind of contrasty and dark it is than when we first started, right? The grid itself is making the light kind of vignette in a bit. And if we use both our techniques together, double technique, and we feather the light with the grid. Now, if you over feather the light, over feather, that's a new term. It won't hit her at all, but this should be fun. Again, I'm in TTL, so when I change the light here, that might have been a strange, oop. Oh yeah, look at that. So remember now, remember because you can't see it clearly, she's not very far from the wall, and look at how dark it is. Why is it dark? It's dark because the light is turned away. Boy, that sounds really, really basic. It's dark because the light's not pointed at it. Well, you know, aha. It's dark because the light is basically pointed away from the background. But remember that it's not a focused light. It's not like a flashlight where I turn it away from the background and it goes completely dark. I've got a bit of an edge to it. So I'm able to kind of catch Erica in that soft edge of the light. And with the grid on there, it really, really helps me control it. Could you do it without the grid? Maybe, but you'd have to really turn the light out far and figure out where your edge is. So the grid is super useful for this kind of stuff. Get yourself a nice dark background, even though you've got this gray. Easy as that. That was not bad, right? So in the end, you just don't point the light at it and it gets dark. So that's what we learned here. But anyways, this is pretty simple. Let's just shoot a couple like this because Erica likes the drama. She loves the drama, so we'll shoot a few like this and then we'll look at them. This is the part of the video where I'm making the thumbnail. Good. Good. More. Both this light and this camera are really quiet. I feel like you could like be shooting at night and nobody would yell at you. You'd be like, hey, stop being so loud over there. Oh look, I have the light, the little edge of the light in the edge of the shot there. Patented technique. Don't worry about that.
You want me to do it?
Yep, okay. Of course, yes. This is your opportunity.
This is my time to shine.
This is your time to shine.
Yeah, they're really nice. This whole look is giving me like vintage, like 60s vibes. And like it's very drama, as we said. Love it. So
it's like a nighttime 60s. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's pretty.
You're looking off. You're like.
Off into the distance. Maybe at a long lost lover. Who knows?
Oh yes.
Yeah, this is fun.
Pretty good, right?
Very
Gray
good.
background, dark background. You can always charge more for a dark background.
Sure.
Keep that in mind.
That's right. It's all about the money.
Yep. That's what it comes down to. No, but it's nice, right? It makes it pop. And you would think that like an outfit like this that maybe looks picnicky might not work against dark background, but I think this one works pretty well.
I think it's cute.
Yeah, it's really cute. Yeah, the contrast is really nice. So anyways, guys, I will put Erica's information in the description so you guys can follow her. Be sure to follow me, Daniel Norton Photographer, and I'll see you next time on set.
Hi guys! Thank you so much for watching. We really hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it and you'd like to check out some more of our content, feel free to click around and enjoy. Make sure you subscribe to Adorama TV, ring the bell so you never miss a video, and I'll see you next time.